Futures trading involves a substantial risk of loss and may not be suitable for all investors. Therefore, carefully consider whether such trading is suitable for you in light of your financial condition.
Good morning. It's Tuesday, January 20th. I'm Phil Streible, Chief Market Strategist at Blue Line Futures. So overnight headlines looking at the impact on the precious metals markets. You do have gold. It rose past $4,700 an ounce to a record high, while silver also reached an all-time high, as well as a standoff between the U.S. and Europe over control over Greenland shows no signs of de-escalation. Stock futures are solidly lower after Trump reignited his trade war with Europe. What's interesting here is that China also sent military drone into Taiwanese airspace for the first time. That's according to their defense ministry. So looking at the rundown on the precious metals, you do have gold, silver reaching all-time highs. Average true range on the gold market being $90. The key level support $44.18. Silver, that 14-day average true range $5.46. Key level support $82.80. So looking at those precious metals, those ETF flows, what's interesting, ETFs, they increase those gold holdings for a 6th straight day and then reverse course on the silver market. So they're starting to add to the silver again. So gold, no change as far as percentage change on the daily, but year to date up 0.9%, adding about 20,000 ounces. 6th straight day of gains here, longest winning streak since October 21st. So total gold held by those ETFs, rising 0.9% this year to 99.9 million ounces. It's the highest level since August 30th, and gold is up about 8.1% this year. So you look at silver, they did add about 5,000 troy ounces of silver to the holdings in the last trading session here, and the gold silver ratio dropping to about 49-1. So it's the first time I've seen the 40, anything in the 40s handle. When I started in this business, it was right around like that 45 handle was kind of that range that we were trading in back and forth. And I remember when it broke over to 50-1 and the alarm bells were going off that silver was oversold in comparison to gold at that point in time. Now you look at the macro markets, we do have those equities. They are declining overnight. We have that World Annual Economic Forum in Davos this week, so expect a lot of geopolitics, those kind of talks, that kind of rhetoric. You go to the earnings front, out of the 33 out of the S&P 500 companies that have reported so far, 88% have beat those analyst forecasts, 12% have missed. And you look at the economic data, no significant releases here today. It's not going to be until tomorrow when we get the party started throughout the rest of the week. As far as central banks, you look at the Fed's external communication blackout period is going to go until that day past that Fed meeting, which is going to be on January 28th. Expect no interest rate cut whatsoever, 5% likelihood. You go over to March, edging a bit higher, 22%. Obviously, with a lot of this rhetoric here, you're going to start to see those expectations build in. But what's interesting here is you'll get the dollar here, big drop overnight, 98.24. You get the euro currency bumping up a bit here, 117.67. And then you look at the 10-year yields breaking out, pushing through the top end of the range here, which is about 4.22 to 4.25%. So we broke out through that 4.29%. So expecting some type of as far as inflation data picking up a bit here, as some of those key inputs, a lot of the things that are moving back and forth as far as exports and things like that, kind of hunkering down so they can get some clarity as far as Greenland tariffs, things like that. So expect to see some of your commodities start to push a bit higher here on a broad-based scale. You do have the VIX futures pushing up, but still below that 20, that line there, sitting at 1970. You got Bitcoin down about 4.5%, 91,200. That was the key indicator that was starting to break down. So a lot of times I just watch Bitcoin here as a bit of an indicator because a lot of the key plug-in administration officials trade a lot of these cryptocurrencies under the table, in my opinion, as far as you see those inflows, those outflows. So if you see a big inflow into Bitcoin here and a big reversal around, a lot of times they might have some kind of agreement here met. You look at the S&P gamma exposure turning most likely negative here, and then you look at European stocks where they fell as the rhetoric about this renewed trade war, Trump threatening to, tariff wine and champagne, and European stocks really extending that Monday drop, which was the biggest in 2 months. You look at Asian stocks, they fell, and equities in Japan, they extended their decline on these growing political uncertainty, with the MSCI Asia Pacific Index down about 0.8%. So if you guys got any questions, shoot me a call, shoot me an email, info@bluelinefutures.com. And remember that futures and option trading does involve risk of loss, may not be suitable to all investors. Good luck, good trading.
Futures trading involves a substantial risk of loss and may not be suitable for all investors. Therefore, carefully consider whether such trading is suitable for you in light of your financial condition.